Hey guys, hope you are well. So a little while ago, I shared a little poll in my stories and I spoke about negative stories that we tell ourselves. And some of you said you wanted to learn more about this and how you can help yourself. So let me give some examples. So for example, first of all, let me give some background. So you're born into this world as just a pure, innocent being or spirit, whichever way you see it. And nothing's happened to you, so you've got no fear. And you know this because when you see a child, they're fearless. They don't think about stuff because they don't have that ability yet. They just try everything, they do everything, and they're just fearless. So we are born fearless. What happens though is as we grow up, things happen to us. So for example, it could be that, and actually I can give a real example. So my niece is got bitten by a dog as a child. Um, or chased by a dog. I can't remember which one, but now she's scared of dogs. So that's only come from experiences. And then I'll give one of my own as well. So as a child, I had a really, really bad stutter. And this meant that when I talked out loud publicly, I would stutter, which made me feel quite stupid. And also it made me feel, it locked my confidence massively. So I dealt with that. I went to this speech therapy and stuff. I dealt with it, but the fear that it left me with continued for a very, very, very long time. So my negative story around that was, I can't do public speaking. That was my negative story. Just because of this one experience, I basically wrote it off. Now I fought that fear, and I now love doing it. And I'm so glad I did fight it because the repercussions of actually being able to speak has just been amazing for me. And I think it's part of my whole purpose in life is to be able to share my story. But the thing is we have these negative things happen to us along the way, and we tell ourselves negative stories based on these experiences. But we need to remember that we are essentially really we're innocent, pure, made of three things. We're made of light, we're made of joy, and we're made of peace. That's all we are. And if we can deal with our negative stories along the way, then we can go back to this place of being fearless. So what I have started to do, and I've started to do this more and more, is every time I'm scared of something, I try and figure out where that's come from. So, for example, the fear of public speaking, which I had, I know now, and this is from analyzing, asking why, sitting down, asking questions, looking at myself, a lot of analyzing, and I analyze anyway a lot. So for me, I guess it's a bit easier. But if you can sit down and really, really think about where this could have come from, you'll realize that it's not actually something that you are, it's just been based on an experience that you went through. So you can change this. So like I said, with the whole not being able to speak publicly, this came from the whole problem with stuttering. So I told myself a negative story around speaking, that I can't do public speaking, and I just avoided it my whole life out of fear basically. But when I actually faced it, it wasn't that bad. So another example that comes to mind as well is what was it? So, like for example, if you're somebody who is feels like you're not successful, this has probably come from something somebody has said to you, and it's become your story. So I know that I have some negative stories around certain issues, and I know where they come from as well. So once you've realized where they've come from, what you can be doing is rewriting your story. So if your story, like mine was, says, I cannot do public speaking, I would change that story to public speaking comes easy to me. So I'd switch it round and just keep telling myself that. So this kind of comes down to like positive affirmations. I have done a blog post on my website, which you can go and have a look at by visiting the link in the bio. But this whole idea of telling yourself stuff, it basically feeds your subconscious, and you can change your story. It's not impossible, but you need to first recognize what your negative stories are so you can change them. So number one, recognize what your story is. Number two, analyze and figure out where it comes from. And number three, rewrite your story. You can rewrite your story, you can change it, you can make it something completely different, and you don't have to then spend your whole life dealing with that negative story. So that kind of, I hope, helps a little bit. As I said, on my website, you can find some examples of positive affirmations. If you don't know much about this, there is a whole article on the website which gives you more information about these as well. And these are things that I use. One of my mantras is actually an affirmation that I tell myself all the time. So make sure that you go and have a look to understand a bit more about it. But I'd be interested to hear about your negative stories, what you tell yourself, and if you know where they come from and how you think you can change them. Again, this is a really big mindset shift that you can do. It's not impossible to do. If I can change it, so can you. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys soon, but I hope that was really helpful, and have a great day. Bye.